wash trades are illegal in the financial industry for a reason, right? But
explain wash trades again.
It's what's the way to? It's like it's like with my book. You might have heard about my book. Company
I heard
Rules.
about it.
Yeah, it's being released on the 18th of January on Scribd.
How does this have to do with anything, or are you just?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. If I really was desperate and I said I really want my book to become a bestseller, right? Well, one of the things I could do is I could set up a bunch of fake accounts on Amazon or wherever, and then I could put money into all those different accounts, and then I could start buying up my book.
I know someone who did that.
You did. Well, it's in a sense that's a wash trade.
Is that illegal?
Right? You're on both sides, right? It's illegal in the financial industry, but see, remember, crypto is what is it? It's not a currency. It's a piece of property. So they haven't decided. They're still trying to figure it out, right? Which again, I would argue is one of the reasons why SBF was putting money into politics. If you can get ahead of the game, I'll tell you as an example. There's a reason why I'm telling this story. Early days of Iraq, I'm talking like 2003, 2004, 2005. My company had, a lot of people there because we were supporting security operations for a lot of the infrastructure companies, and so they're out there trying to rebuild parts of the country. They're doing things. Well, they've got to have security, and they've got to have people handling a variety of problems for them. So we had gotten out there very early. We were out there in early 2003, right, at the very beginning. And it didn't take long. At first there was several months where it was relatively peaceful. Shit started to hit the fan out there in about September of 2003, right? Really started going south, and then it started getting violent. And 2004, 2005, the security business in Iraq just ballooned, right? Suddenly you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting another security company. They just popped up out of nowhere. You'd be out there and you'd say, who are you guys with? And they'd say some company you'd never heard of, right? And just put together because people saw opportunity. I'm going to get some government contracts, right? I'm going to work for these companies. I'm going to do this. And they were pulling people who had no business being out in a hostile environment, right, and providing security. So then they started having problems. There were all sorts of issues. Well, we started thinking, okay, this has got to get regulated, right? State Department and Pentagon, they're going to come in and they're going to say, no, we've got to regulate the private security industry that's operating out here. We know we need it, but it's just unregulated. So we're going to do it. So as part of that, once we realized that was going to happen, we got together with some of the more reputable security firms that were operating out there. We said, let's form an association, right, so that we can get ahead of the curve. Right? And we can help define what the regulations are for these security companies that are out there operating. It's in our best interest, right? And I would argue it's no different than what SBF was doing, kind of spreading the cash around so that he could understand where the regulations were going to come from and he could get ahead of the curve. And so, hey, from a intel perspective, bravo, that's the right intuition. But again,
but he didn't recognize his vulnerability.